Hey everybody, it's Ryan, and what I have here is a on-the-counter water filter device that also does water chilling down to about 41 to 43 degrees. And I'm gonna give you all the fun stats. All right, the first thing is gonna be size because this is a on-the-counter, sits on the counter. And so the width on it, the overall width is about 8¼ inches total width left to right. The height determine if it would go underneath a hanging cabinet, as in this example, obviously it does. But the total height on it is right at about 15¾ yeah, about 15¾ inches tall, and the total depth is right at about 18 inches. And then you have a extension cord that is in the rear. Your extension cord is roughly 36 inches long. Now, some other cool features: it has two built-in filters and a UV filter. So to show those, on top here, you have your first filter here, and it comes with a wrench. It can be pulled out, with a little bit of grip, but just to make it easy, the company did provide this extra grip and pulls out. And this is your first filter. This is your major filter. And then goes back in. Then you also have a secondary filter right here. This also comes out fairly easily. This is your carbon filter. These can be easily swapped out when the time is needed. It also has 3 ways of storing water. So when it's in use, you have a 0.32 gallon water pitcher, which is right here, and it fills from the bottom. It's kind of cool. It fills from the bottom and it pushes filtered water into here. Then you also have the storage container on the rear. This actually allows you, which is kind of convenient, so you don't have to worry about like dumping water in here. You literally can pick it up and then fill it in the sink with whatever water you have. So this water tank is going to hold about 1.3 gallons. You also have about 0.32 gallons inside, which is where the chiller is, and the UV light is like in here somewhere. And then again, adding this to it. So 0.32, 0.24, and then also 1.3. So you're right at total, right at about 2 gallons on total water. Some fun stats that have to do with the actual water filters, which is really important, is that the water filter and how many gallons they use. So you got about 528 gallons of life expectancy as far as the filters are used. So kind of can do the math as far as like how often you might have to change them, but 528 gallons. Now, once you go through all of the initial water filtration setup, so basically you fill it full of water, and then there's some pretty simple, basically just push a couple buttons and it will go through like the initial staging of the filters. Then once you do that, it's a wrap. You're good to go. And you would just do that every time you put new filters in. The explanation on the instructions is very easy to use. It basically just cycles through and kind of prepares the filters. The temperature on this is really cool. So not a lot of filters will provide a cooling effect. And so this can be left in a cooling setting to where ready to use anytime you want. You can come in here and then this, as we have noted right here, we have this set in the cooling setting. You basically just hit your cold water. It's going to do its thing. And now it's dispensing cold water that here is set at 43 degrees. And then this can be adjusted. It doesn't need to be at 43 degrees, but it is set to 43 degrees. It has a UV filter notification letting the user know, hey, this is actually not only filtering the water through 2 physical filters, but it's also doing UV filter inside the machine as well, which is pretty cool. It does have, just in case you pull it off too quick, there is a drip pan right here that will automatically catch a couple drips. I've been using this for a number of days and it doesn't even drip at all. This stays completely dry because you just give it a couple seconds and it finishes dripping and then you're good to go. This pitcher can be used sort of as a ready to go pitcher. This is not chilled, so you can just take this off and then set it up and you can just pour it at your leisure. Now you also have the option with just a couple clicks, this is all touchscreen, of changing the actual desired temperature when in cooling mode. And so you would just hold this button down until you get a beeping sound, and then you can manually adjust this temperature, up to up to about 58 degrees, and then it will reset. You don't have to do cold water if you don't want cold water. And just doing the ambient or room temperature water, you would just hit this once. It's going to fill up. This water is not chilled. This is just at room temperature water. Now, when this is topped off and water is put in there, what will start to happen is, I think there's like some kind of setting or something in there that lets you know when you take this off and you put it back on, this will automatically start to fill. So it's kind of hard to see, but right here is the line and the water is starting to go up. And so it's automatically filtering this water. So you pretty much have water on demand at all time. And so it will let you know. So if you go and you press this, it'll say, hey, water needs to be changed or filled. There's going to be an icon right here at the top. So if the water is low and this is low, it will let you know, hey, go ahead and put some more water in the back storage container area, and then this will automatically fill up. So right now, the water is actually being filtered and it's filling this up. And then as this gets used up, then it will just continue to keep filling, and it stops once it gets to a certain area. It just knows like, hey, there's, it won't overflow. There's a couple different settings here. You have your first filter and second filter. So these are 3 bars. And that just lets the user know that as you're getting close to needing a new filter, these bars are going to go closer to the point where it's going to let you know. Now, once the pitcher does fill up with water, the device is completely silent. It's on, but it's not making any noise whatsoever. When it is in use and you're using, let's just say, cold water, besides the actual water, flowing, there is a little bit of a slight hum. Now, since there are internal pipes and everything, this device is really cool where it has a built-in flushing feature. So with the click of a button, this will initiate the pipes where the water is currently sitting in within inside the machine, and it will cycle that water out internally. And so you never really have water sitting in, let's just say, the insides, the guts of the machine doing its thing for any extended period of time. And it's recommended to, do the flush every so often, let's just say weekly or something. Pretty much know anytime you're getting water, it's always going to have some sort of UV filter that's been activated within the last 60 minutes. Now, when using the cold water, it's automatically going to have the UV light on when it's doing cold water. Or when doing the ambient water, it's also going to do that as well. So there's going to be some UV filter actively going either while the machine is sitting silent and not doing anything, or when you're actively getting water dispensed. Now, full disclosure, this company, SimPure, sent me this water filter, said, Ryan, tell us what you think. Not only how easy it is to use, but more importantly, how good does the water taste after it's been filtered? The water tastes fantastic, and being nice and cold at about 40-30 degrees is a nice added benefit. Now, hopefully all your questions got answered, but I would say this is very cool, very convenient, and very effective countertop water filtering device, and we'll talk to you soon.